Hello everyone, and welcome all of you to Unacademy, a platform that has helped thousands of students across the country to crack toughest of examinations with the help of top educators, quality content, and not to forget the great learning experience that it offers. Therefore, join us on Unacademy and together let us crack 9th and 10th examinations with the access to unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. Before I proceed, let me introduce myself. I am Tasneem Ahmed and I have completed my Master's and MPhil in English. I have also been certified in TESOL and I have trained 1,000 plus students. Along with this, I also have 8 years of professional teaching experience. Well, today's topic is about tenses. We started learning tenses a week ago and we are done with present tense. And we have started with past tense. We are done with simple past, past continuous, and today we will be discussing about past perfect in detail. Before I proceed with today's topic, let me tell you a little more about Unacademy and what you will get with Unacademy. Well, for starters, you have daily live classes where you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls all while the class is going on. Number 2, you have daily tests, live tests, and quizzes where you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock tests and quizzes and get detailed analysis on your performance. Number 3, you have structured courses. All our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. Number 4, which is the most important one, is the unlimited access. That is, once you become the subscriber, once you buy the subscription of Unacademy, one subscription gives you the access to all the live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices. Therefore, you will have to go now, today, and buy the subscription and get the access to all the free live classes and prepare with top educators and also get the comprehensive syllabus to subjects like mathematics, social science, Hindi, science, and of course, English as well. You can also talk to us on Telegram application by downloading the application and typing the link in the URL and then clicking on join. Next is you can also download the Unacademy learning application on any one of your device. After having done this, then comes the main important step, which is to buy one of these available subscriptions on Unacademy. While Unacademy offers you subscriptions starting from 1 month to 48 months. Well, the advantage of the duration over here is these courses actually come with a discounted rate, and as you proceed with the duration, as you go higher with the duration, the discount on these durations go higher as well. And now 6 months duration is available on 33% of discount. As you go higher to 12 months, the discount also goes higher from 33% to 50%. And 24 months duration is available on 58% of discount. 36 months duration is available on 60% of discount, and 48 months duration course is available on 67% of discount. Well, along with these discounts, there is one additional benefit as well. That is when you proceed to pay. When you proceed to pay, you will have to type the code TA01, upon which you get additional 10% of discount on the existing discounts that are available. That is, for example, let us say you decide to buy a course of 12 months over here. Well, I would recommend go ahead and buy a 12 months course, because if you go in comparison with 6 months and 12 months, you can see the difference between the time, but the difference between the amount that you will be paying for 6 months and 12 months. Well, after having entered the code TA01, you get additional 10% of discount. Together, you get 60% of discount on this course, and as opposed to 15,000 rupees, you now will be paying only 13,500 rupees. Whereas here you will be paying 9,000 rupees, which is only for 6 months, but for 12 months duration you will only be paying 13,500 rupees only. Supposing if you were to buy this course twice, 6 months now and after completion of 6 months again, then in that case the amount is around 18,000 rupees, which is obviously more than 13,500 rupees. Therefore, make a wise decision over here. Go ahead and buy the course for 12 months. Take the advantage of the course that is available, that is TA01. Take the advantage of this code and get that additional 10% of discount and buy the 12 months duration course and pay only 13,500 rupees for next 1 whole year and start preparing for your examinations today. Now let us proceed towards today's topic, which is tenses. Well, this is not our today's topic. Well, in fact, we started learning tenses a week ago. We started with a number of different types of tenses. Well, the first question I would like to ask you is, what is a tense? Well, tense is nothing but time. Time of what? Time of the action taking place. Time of the action taking place. Well, if you consider time over here, under that we have 3 different timelines. Number 1, we have present. Number 2, we have past. Number 3, we have future. We have 3 main timelines when it comes to time. Present speaks about present, that is happening, the actions that are happening at the moment. Past speaks about completed actions. Future speaks about those actions which are yet to happen. But these 3 timelines are further divided into 4 more, like number 1, simple. Number 2, continuous. Number 3, perfect. And number 4, perfect continuous. These 3 timelines are further divided into these 4 more, as in present has simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. Similarly, past has simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Similarly, the future also has simple future, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. In the previous week, we learned about present, simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous, and also simple past and past continuous as well. Now, today we will be discussing about past perfect. Well, I definitely cannot take you through all these tenses now. Please go and watch all those previous videos because I have discussed each and every tense in detail so that you will have a clear idea, so that you can identify each and every tense without any complication, without any difficulty. Therefore, go watch all those previous videos that I have put on YouTube on simple, on present simple, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous, past simple past, and past continuous. And today's video is on past perfect. So let us proceed towards learning what is past perfect. Well, what is past perfect? Well, when I told you about present perfect, I told you that we are speaking about an action that has been perfectly completed in present, but we are discussing about past perfect over here. So when we refer to past perfect here, we are obviously referring to actions which are perfectly completed. Of course, yes, no denial there. but we are in fact referring to past perfect, which means we are referring to those actions which are perfectly completed in past. Now supposing this is your present and this is your past. Now in this past duration, the actions that have happened have been perfectly completed. We are referring to that timeline over here. Now the past perfect refers to older actions. Now let us focus on this. Past perfect refers to older actions. The verb in the past perfect shows that the action is completed way back in time. Now if this is present and if this is future, this is past. And we are referring to past here. This is our past tense. And we here, when we refer to past perfect, we are referring to actions which have happened way before in time, even before the past time. Well, everything that comes in before present is past, of course. Well, again, there is recent past and there is older past as well. And here past perfect is referring to older past, as in to all these actions which have happened way before. That is what we call or refer to as past perfect. What is the sentence structure that we use when it comes to past perfect? Well, if you remember when I was explaining about present perfect, I told you that we only use past participles when it comes to perfect tenses, didn't I? Well, that is correct. We are going to use past participle over here as well. Well, we begin with subject soon after the subject. Now here, as we are talking about past perfect, we are going to use had, and then we are going to use past participle. We are going to use subject, and soon after the subject we are going to use only the past tense of the past perfect tense and then the past participle. Well, in present tense we used has and have, and the past tense of has and have is had. Therefore we use had alone in past perfect. Before I go ahead talking about the usages of past perfect, let us quickly discuss about the subject types that we have and we will be discussing in this video. Well, let us first discuss about the pronouns. We have 3 different types of subject pronouns, where the first one is first person, referred to first person. Then we have second person, and then we have the third person. All these are pronouns. We are referring to the pronouns which are used in subject place. Well, we have first person, second person, and the third person. First person is the one who is talking. For example, I, and the plural of I is we. Second person is the one who is listening to the one who is speaking. For example, I am the one talking, you are the one who is listening. So you is your pronoun, both in singular and plural. Third person is that person who is not present in this particular conversation between you and I. It is him. Well, we are referring to subject, therefore we will say he, she, or it. He, she, or it goes in singular, and the plural of these 3 subjects will be they. These are the pronouns that we use. Well, when it comes to nouns, in singular, we can refer to the name of a person or name of a thing, like the pen or the box, or we can also refer to a place like the shop or the mall, These are singular nouns. In plural, we can maybe club 2 nouns like Ben and Emily, or we can plural the thing like pens or the boxes, or for the plural of the shop, we can make it as shops. So these are plural subject nouns and these are singular subjects. These are the different types of subject types that we have when we are going to conjugate our subject and verb in tenses. Next is a verb. What is a verb? Well, verb is a word that denotes the action in a statement. All right. Under this section, we have two different types of verbs. Number one, we have main verbs. Number two, we have auxiliaries. We have auxiliaries, which are also referred to as helping verbs. They are called as helping verbs because they help the subject in connecting or in linking with the main verb. Well, what are main verbs? Main verbs are words like sit, drink, eat, sleep, run, walk, or talk, or leave, swim, think, or drive. Well, there are many number of verbs. I definitely cannot put all of them over here. So these are a few examples for your understanding. So these are referred to as main verbs. Next, we have something called as auxiliaries. And under the section of auxiliaries, we have something called as be verbs, which is, are, am in present tense. In past, we have was and were, and in future, we have will be. And then we also have something called as have verbs, where we have has, have, and had. We also have something called as do verbs, like do, does, and did. And then we have modals, like can, could, shall, should, may, might, would. All these are your models. Well, together, these verbs, main verbs and be verbs or auxiliaries, are used in conjugating the tenses. It is important for you to know these because we will be using all these in our tenses. Now let us move on to the 5 forms of verbs that we have that you must know if you are conjugating tenses. Well, let us take the first one as talk, and let us take it as eat, and let us take it as swim. And these verbs, when you refer to them, you call them as root verb, or you also call them as base form. Well, this is how a verb is born: talk, eat, swim, drink, etc. Now this, you add plus s to the root form and it becomes talks, eats, and swims. The third is when you add the ing to the base form by adding eng, and it becomes your third form, swimming. The next form is your past tense, which we use it in simple past. The past tense of talk is talked, and the past tense of eat is ate, and the past tense of swim is swam. Well, there is another form which is called as past participle, and the past participle of talk is talked, and the past participle of eat is eaten, and the past participle of swim is swum. Well, now the question is, do you recognize these words? Focus on the way, look at the way the words have turned into different forms. Talk has become talks, and then talking, and then talked and talked. When you take a look at the past tense over here and the past participle of these verbs over here, For the word talk, the past tense and the past participles are similar. And for eat, the past tense is ate and the past participle is eaten. Whereas for swim, the past tense is swam and the past participle is swum. Well, this gives us the understanding that the verbs which have similar past tense and past participle are referred to as regular verbs, and when the verbs have different past tense and different past participle like these, we call them as irregular verbs. There is one more thing that I have to tell you, that is the present and the past participle. What is a participle? Participle is when the verb functions like an adjective in a statement and then it becomes, or it is called as, participle. We have ing verb, which is a participle, which is called present participle, and then we have these verb forms like eaten, swum, talked, all those as our past participles. Now let us move on to learning the next thing, which is the sentence structure. All right, there are two T's. Let us ignore the second one. Let us talk about the sentence structure of past perfect. A little while ago, I told you that past perfect is nothing but actions that refer to way old actions. I mean, like the older actions, we refer to those actions as past perfect, right? Let us first discuss about the sentence structure here. We take the subject first, and soon after the subject, we take had. When we were discussing about present perfect, I told you we use subject and we use has and have, and we then use past participle. Past participle. It is not past perfect, guys. It is past participle. All right. It is past participle. So this is not present perfect that we are discussing. When we were discussing for present perfect, this is what we use, but then for past, the past tense of has or have is had. Therefore, here after the subject, we use had, and soon after had, we use the past participle, which we discussed in our previous slide. If you see, this is our past participle, this and this is our past participle. We use had and then we use this. We say had talked, had eaten, had swum. So let us come back to past perfect. Past participle is what we use. The sentence structures. Before I give you the example of sentence structures, as I told you earlier, that we refer to actions. Past perfect is when we refer to older actions. Supposing two actions have happened in the past. Like, for example, let us say, if I give you the statement, when I reached, okay, something is wrong. Okay, when I reached the station, the bus had, okay, let me bring it down. Okay, something seems to be wrong. All right, sorry about that. Okay, when I reached the station, the bus had left. Now over here we have two clauses. I hope you remember the clauses and the phrases. Over here we have two clauses. That is, I reached the station is your clause number, is your one clause, and the bus had left is your another clause. Well, over here, if you take a look at the sentence structure, we have subject, and soon after the subject we have the verb reached, which is our past tense. Therefore, this is in simple past. This structure is in simple past. And when you take a look at the second clause, which is the bus had left, you have the subject, you have the past auxiliary, and then you have the past participle. Therefore, this becomes our past perfect. So we have used simple past and past perfect over here to describe these two actions. Well, two actions have happened. Let us analyze the statement over here. Two actions have happened. Number one, when I reached the station, the bus had left. Number one, the first thing you have to focus on is two actions have happened, and both of these actions have happened in past. All right? Both these actions have happened in the past. Now the question is, which one happened first and which one happened before or after that? Now, assuming, let us say you reached the station at 8:30 a.m. You reached the station at 8:30 a.m. But when you reached the station, the bus had already left the station, which means the bus leaving the station happened before that, which means probably at 8:15 a.m. The bus had left. The bus had left the station. So two actions have happened, and both have happened in the past. And when we are referring to the older action, so which is the older action over here and which is the new action, or which is the recent action? Let us assume now it is 8:35 a.m. So this also has happened in the past. Now at the moment, the present is 8:35. So which happened recently and which happened earlier, or which is the older action out of these? Well, obviously the action which happened at 8:15 is your older action. To refer to the older action, we use the past perfect. And to refer to those actions which have happened just recently, which are completed just recently, we use the simple past, like this. When I reached the station, the bus had already left, or the bus had left. So past perfect is when you refer to older actions or very old actions, or if you are referring to two different actions. And in that situation, if you have to segregate, if you have to point out which one happened first and which one happened earlier, then for those actions which happened earlier, you use the past perfect. Now let me give you the examples with the subject types that we discussed a little while ago, starting with I. Well, I had told her. I had told her about the party. Now here, this is our subject. This is our past auxiliary, and told is the past perfect, or past participle of tell. Is the past participle of tell. The next is with you. You had left for the day. You had left for the day. You being subject, had auxiliary, past auxiliary, left is the past perfect, or past participle of leave. Of leave. Then we have the subject we. We had called the cab. We had called the cab. We subject, had is your past auxiliary, called is your past participle. Therefore, this is our past perfect usage. Next is they had received a promotion. Let us say in last quarter. In last quarter. They had received a promotion. They is your subject and your past auxiliary and your past participle. So this is how you use with subjects I, you, we, and they. How about he, she, and it? If you have watched all my previous videos based on tenses, I have been telling you that he, she, and it takes plus S verb. That is correct, but it's not applicable to past tenses. It's only applicable in past continuous though, but in simple past or past perfect or any other tense or in future tense, this rule doesn't apply. Even in third person singular usage, the sentence structure is subject and had. There is no pluses over here. It is had and you go with past participle. This is the sentence structure that we use even with he, she, and it. Let me give you the examples. He had told her about the party. About the party. Full stop. Well, if you have the subject as she had left for the day. Well, third person, we can use it as the company. The company, the replacement of company is it, or the pronoun. The company had gained huge profits on the launch of the product. Or you can also say that as a product launch. So here you can focus on the structure of the statement. He had told. Subject, had, and past participle. Subject, had, and past participle. Subject, had, and past participle. So that is how we use in with he, she, and it. There is no particular plus S usage over here with he, she, or it. The next one is how to form the negatives when it comes to past perfect usage. Well, as usual, you have to only add the negative word, which is not, and it becomes your negative usage. If supposing the subject is I, and if we have had, I had, all you have to do is bring in the word not. I had not told her about the party. I had not told her. Well, here with the introduction of the word not, we have negated the fact earlier. Without it, we were affirming the fact stating I had told her about the party. By introducing the word not, we are negating the fact that I had not told her about the party. Similarly, with subject you and had, and introduce the negative word. Well, this can also be contracted. Had not can be contracted into hadn't. You had not or you hadn't left for the day. Full stop. With the subject we had or not. We had not, bringing in the negative factor. You can also use hadn't. We hadn't called. This is your past participle. We hadn't called the cab yet. With the subject they had not, or you can also bring in hadn't there. They hadn't or they had not received the promotion. The promotion. So this is how you frame your negative statements with the subject I, you, we, and they, with third person singular subjects like he, she, and it, we follow the same sentence structure. That is, had and not. Let us see. He had, we forgot about the negative word. He had not told her about the party. He had not told her about the party, or she had not left for the day. Full stop. You can also remember, you can also convert this into hadn't. Hadn't. The only difference is it will be considered informal. Had not is considered as formal, academically correct. Hadn't is not incorrect though, but then it is better to use split words rather than going ahead with contracted forms. While you're speaking, contracted forms are totally fine, but when you are writing, try and avoid the contracted forms. The next is the company had not. The company had not gained any profits. Any profits at the product launch. Product launch. So you can see that we are negating the facts over here, which the same facts which we affirmed earlier. Now here we are negating all of them by using the word not. So this is the sentence structure. We use subject, which is he, she, or the company. Soon after that, we use had and not. Had not or hadn't. And then we use the past participle, which is told, left, and gained. According to your usage, you can bring in your own verb forms over there, and you can either affirm or negate the facts. The next is how to frame yes or no questions. Well, what are yes or no questions? Yes or no questions are those questions which demand only yes or no in response. Now, for example, if I say, did you have your food? And the answer is yes or no. So that is what is referred to as yes or no questions. And with past perfect, we use the sentence structure that goes is first comes the auxiliary, which is the past auxiliary, and here we are going to use had, and soon after the auxiliary we are going to use the subject, and soon after the subject we are going to use the past participle. The past participle over here. So based on this, remember when you are forming your yes or no questions, it always begins with the auxiliary. With that, let us say had, and the subject being had I. Had I told her about the party? Well, the intonation must also change because this is a question. You're not affirming or negating over here, but you are questioning. Therefore, the intonation in your voice intonation or the stress must also change accordingly. Had I told her about the party? Answer is yes, I did. No, I did not. Similarly, had you, subject being, had you left for the day? Had you left for the day? Answer is yes, I had. No, I hadn't. With the subject we have, had, right? Had we called? Had we called the cab already? Had we called the cab already? And with the subject they, had they received the promotion? Question mark. Let us not forget to put a question mark because these are our questions. Had I told her about the party? Had you left for the day? Had we called the cab already? Why already? Already. Had they received the promotion? Well, all these are referring to older actions, the actions which have happened way back in time. Sentence structure is had, which we have mentioned it over here. Had, and had. The subjects are I, you, we, and they. And there we have our past participles: told, left, called, and received. With he, she, and it, there is no change. The sentence structure still remains the same. That is had and subject and the past participle. So how do you frame the question here? Had he told her about the party? Question mark, because this is a question. Next one is, had she left for the day? For the day. Question mark. Next is, had the company, or it, had the company gained huge profits? Huge profits, question mark. Had the company gained huge profits? Now you can see the sentence structure is pretty much the same, and this is how we frame questions with different types of subjects. He, she, it doesn't take plus S because this is past perfect. In past perfect, he, she, it, which is a third person singular subject, does not require a plus S verb. It only requires plus S only in present tenses. Now let us move on to the next one, which is WH question words, or WH words questions. What are WH words? Well, words like what, why, or where, or when, which, who, how, and did I leave anything? Whom. Okay. These are your WH words which are used in forming the questions. These are called WH word questions because in response, unlike yes or no questions, they do not demand yes or no, but then they demand an entire explanation of why something happened, what is happening, when, which, who, whom, when. They demand information in response, when you reply to these, when you answer these questions. So how do you frame the questions? The sentence structure over here is, obviously the questions begin with WH words and then the auxiliary, and because we are talking about past auxiliary over here, we are going to go ahead with had, and then comes the subject, and obviously it ends with past participle. So this is the sentence structure that we are going to use over here. Next is how. What word will we or can we bring in? Supposing if we take when, according to the structure, when and then had. When had, and the subject being I. When had I told her about the party? Let us not forget to put the question mark over here. Next one, let us take the word as why, and obviously had. Why had you left your bag open? Bag open, ended with a question mark. Next is, why had we called the cab? Why had we called the cab? Next is, when had they received the promotion? The promotion, question mark. When had they received the promotion? So we have the WH words over here. According to your format, or according to the way what you are trying to express, based on that you can change it accordingly, but the sentence structure still remains the same. WH word, had, subject, and past participle. There you have. Now let us move on to the next factor, which is with third person singular subjects. Like I told you earlier, there is no change when it comes to third person singular subjects over here, like present tense usage. No pluses format over here. The subject, the sentence structure still remains the same, had and subject and past participle. So what are we going to use over here? Let us say we use Y, and obviously Y had, and let us go ahead with he. Why had he told her about the party? Or you can also say, when had he told her about the party? Or the next one with she, where had she gone when the package arrived? The package arrived, question mark. And with company, why had the company gained huge profits, question mark. So there you have, no pluses format over here. We still use had over here, just like the way we use it with I, they, we, and you. Now let us move on to learning the usages of present perfect tenses. I'm sorry, not present. I'm so sorry. It is not present. It is past. Really sorry. It is past perfect that we are discussing. It is past perfect. So let us learn the usages of past perfect. So past perfect, number one, is used to describe an action finished before another action. If you remember when we started this video off, I told you, I gave you a couple of examples based on two actions that have already happened in the past. So the first usage is when two actions have happened in the past. The past perfect is used to mention the older action. That's what we are talking here about. Let me give you the example. I had eaten my lunch already when they got us a takeaway or takeout. Takeaway or takeout is a package that you pack from a restaurant and bring it home. So I had eaten my lunch. Instead of eaten, you can also use had over here. If you remember well, I had told you that had also can be used as your past participle. So here, if you take a look at this sentence structure, I had, there is a repetition of had over here. This is not incorrect. This is perfectly correct. This is had, I had. Here, this is your auxiliary, and here this is your main verb. Remember, I told you that auxiliaries can also function like main verbs. So here, the auxiliary had is functioning like our main verb. Therefore, this usage is correct. There is no mistake over here. I had my lunch already when they got us a takeaway. So instead of had, we can also use eaten, which is obviously a proper main verb and the past participle. So I had my lunch already when they got us a takeaway. So here, to refer older actions, I had my lunch already. So this action happened earlier, and then after this action, after they finished their lunch, they got them a package, which is recently. So two actions have happened. The older action is I had my lunch. With subject we, let us say, we had left the house when they arrived. When they arrived. We had left the house when they arrived. So this happened first. we had left. Leaving happened first. After this action finished, then they arrived. Both have happened in the past tense. So this happened second or recently. With the subject you had gone out when she walked into your cabin. So again, two actions. You had gone out when she walked into your cabin. So leaving, you had gone out already had happened, the first action, and this is the second action. So this happened recently. So all these are our older actions. Let me give you one more example with they. They had left the building when she came looking. Full stop. When she came looking. Again, they had left the building is the first action, and then after that action was completed, she came looking. So here, I had had my lunch is your first action. We had left the house is your first action. You had gone out is your first action. They had left the building is the first action that has happened in the past. After this action was completed, then the other action started. So here, to mention the older. So according to these statements, these are our older actions. These are our older actions, and these are our new actions or the recent actions. So to refer recent actions, we use simple past. And to refer older actions, we use past perfect. The same is the case with he, she, and it as well. All you have to do is, there is no pluses over here. All you do is switch into he, she, or the company, the subject that you want to use. And to make it negative, all you do is add the negative word not, not. And to make it as a yes or no question, you bring the auxiliary over here. And to make it as a WH question, you bring in the WH question word over here, and you get your other formats as well, other structures as well. Let us go to the second usage, which is describe an action that happened before a specific time in past. Like, for example, if I write, I had met him before this morning. I had met him before this morning. So meeting, there was a meeting this morning as well, which is obviously in the past, and he's trying to say that I had met him even before this. So before specific time, that is before this morning. Before this morning also there was another meeting where I had met him. Similarly, you had spoken to her before this meeting. Again, before this specific moment, you had already spoken to her a lot earlier. Next one is, we had called her before we got this mail. So here we got a mail. This is a particular moment in past. Before that, we had already made a call. We had called her, and then we got this mail. Next is with they. They had agreed to it before they spoke to him. So speaking and agreeing, both the actions have happened in the past. The first one is agreeing. The second one is speaking. So here, this is the one which has happened before a specific time. The same is the case with he, she, and it as well. All you do is switch the subjects into he or she, and depending upon the usages. To make it negative, all you do is bring in the negative word. And to make it a question, you only bring in this auxiliaries over here. And to make it a WH question, you insert a WH question word over here. Next is your another usage, which is to describe cause and effect statements. Cause and effect statements. Two actions have happened. One is the cause of it, and then we have the effect of that cause. Example, I was late because I was late. This is the effect. Why were you late? Because I had put my car keys somewhere, full stop. Now two actions have happened. I was late. Number one, I had put my car keys someplace. This is the cause. The effect is I was late. Why were you late? I was late because I had put my car keys somewhere. I was looking for them, and by the time I found the keys and I came over here, I was late. Next is you called her back because, why did you call her back? Because she had asked me to, because she had asked you to, full stop. This is the cause and this is the effect. So you called her back because she had asked you to. Another one is with we left early because we had invited some guests home. Full stop. We left early. This is the effect. But why did you leave early? What was the reason? What was the cause for it? Because we had invited some guests home. That is why we left early. Next one is with they. They arrived on time. Why? What is the cause behind? Because they had promised to be punctual. That was the cause of them coming on time. And this is the effect. Well, with subjects he, all you do is change the subject into he and she. There's, okay, not here, sorry, not here, here. This is what we're talking about, right? Yeah. I was late because she had put my car key somewhere. Definitely makes sense. You called her back because she had asked you to. We left early because he had invited some guests. They arrived on time because she had promised to be punctual. To make it negative, all you do is add not. And to make it a question, all you do is bring the question word here, had here auxiliary, and to make it as a WH question, you begin with a WH word. Now let us move on to another usage, which is used to express a past wish, like this. I wish I had gone to school. So here we are referring as I wish I had gone to school. That means in the present moment, she or he, whoever that is talking, I had not gone to school, but then now I am regretting it and I am expressing that I wish I had gone to school. Probably circumstances would have been different. Similarly, with subject you wish. You wish you had come with us. Come with us. Full stop. With we wish we had met them before. Full stop. Similarly, with they wish they had worked harder. They had worked harder. So here, I wish I had gone to school. You wish you had come. We wish we had met them before. They wish they had worked harder. So here we are referring to the actions which we wish had happened in a different way than they have actually happened. So this is another usage of past perfect. Now let us move on and take a quick recap of what we have learned today. Well, the sentence structure of past perfect is we first use the subject. Soon after the subject, we are going to use the past auxiliary, which is had, and then we use the past participle. We use the past participle. Well, to make it as a negative, all we do is introduce a negative word subject and we bring in had and we bring in had not, and the past participle remains same. To make it as a question auxiliary, this is negative. To make it as a yes or no question, we bring in the auxiliary first, and then comes the word had, and then comes the subject. I'm sorry, no. Yeah, here comes the subject, and here comes your past participle. To make it as a WH question statement, all you do is WH word, then comes your auxiliary, then comes your subject, and then comes your past participle. So these are the structures that we follow, and the usage, the meaning or the definition of past perfect is it is used to refer to older actions, very old actions. When two actions have happened in the past, we refer to past perfect. We use past perfect to refer to the older actions or to those actions which have happened way back in time. This is our past perfect. Now let us conclude this session. Well, thank you very much for watching this. Do leave your comments below and do subscribe if you haven't already. Do hit the bell icon if you haven't already, and do not forget to use the code TA01 to avail that extra 10% of discount when you buy the subscription. Well, do join our Telegram group for latest updates on our upcoming videos. Well, keep watching all my videos until we meet next again. Have a good day. Bye-bye.